I'm really excited to invite our guest who has showed up today. Um, Let me get this screen loaded. I'm going to do just a quick intro for you, Garrett. I'm just a really huge fan of NFTs, as many of you know. Um, a lot of times when I'm in our discussion groups and our questions, a lot of people are very unfamiliar with NFTs. We have a strong tokenomics and decentralized finance background in our community. As well, we have a very strong you know hacking and building in our community as well. So um, I've found over the years, I kind of gravitated to NFTs back in 2019. So they tended to be a little bit more artistic, a little less technical. So the thing I really want to do today is I just kind of want to bring Bbots to front and center. Um, it's an incredible project that just launched. Mrs. Newbooty and I are really big fans of it. She discovered the project early on. There's an affiliation through Masterfile, which is why it's directly related to the Threshold community. But in addition to just being a really interesting and cool NFT project, um, there's just a really great opportunity for people to build with and to build upon the IP and the network that they've created. So, um, without too much further ado, Garrett, I really want to hand it over to you. I've got your website loaded, but you're more than welcome to screen share, and we have the Hangout. If you have any difficulties with screen sharing, you're welcome to post links in there. Or if you just want to give me a nod, I'll be happy to advance this website to any section that you'd like to talk about. So thank you. Thank you for coming by.
All right, thanks for having me. Can you hear me all right? Okay, I'm going to take that as a yes.
Yes, good to go. Thank you, Garrett.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. So, as I was so graciously introduced, my name is Garrett, and I'm the CTO of a company called Masterfile. Short background on us: we're like a media technology company, heavily involved with the development of Threshold and NewCipher. Before that, our company got started off a hackathon project using NewCipher about a year and a half ago. So anyway, this is our first project that we're producing as a joint venture between us, Seth Green, who's a kind of well-known actor, and some of his cohorts. And we're really exploring a new, I guess it's an experiment on how to create and seed new IP using some Web3 principles. And so our first shot at this is called Bbots. And basically how it works is we're providing a kind of open source CC0, which means Creative Commons Zero, which essentially means you can use any of our media in any way that you like. So it's kind of the media equivalent of open source code. And so what we've done is we provided a base layer kind of world and characters to build on. And then we are encouraging our community to build on top of it in parallel to kind of the main storyline that we are envisioning for this world. So a good parallel to this is what one we've been using is Alice in Wonderland. So Alice in Wonderland was made in the late 1800s, and the original story was kind of written in it. You probably wouldn't even recognize it from the Alice in Wonderland you know. It's got kind of the main characters and the main elements, but it's pretty different to like the Disney version. So basically, Alice in Wonderland, after so many years, became public domain, and then Disney decided to pick it up and write their version of Alice in Wonderland. So in this kind of parallel scenario to us, the Bbots is the public domain version of Alice in Wonderland. So we have characters, we have a general like storyline and theme and world universe to build inside of, and then we are as a company called Globotron, which is kind of our envisioning of what Bbots should be. And so we have a trailer made by Stupid Bunny Studios, who is they're the producer of a bunch of Adult Swim TV shows. So I encourage everybody to go to the Bbots website and check that out if you're interested. But basically what it boils down to is we did an NFT mint last weekend. There's still plenty available for fairly cheap on the secondary market if you decide that you want to jump in. Nico just said, can you post the website link? Yes, I can. Let me grab that quick. Website link is in the chat. So we have our trailer. We have comics that we've partnered with, and yeah, our trailer's there. So basically, what we're doing is we did an initial NFT mint to raise funding for how we want to go about actually developing this IP. So that happened last weekend. It's still very easy to buy in. Miss New Booty and Nico are both very proud supporters, and we thank them for their support. They're very active in the Discord and the community and all of that. But the main takeaway is we're using all of this money to turn around and fund both our vision of what Bbots and Globotron should be, as well as the community's vision of what Bbots and Globotron should be. So we're delivering. We have if you go through the website, you can see we have a few products that we're looking to deliver in the near future. The first one kind of allows you to set the canon of what your Bbot represents. So you can set kind of their personality profile, all of the kind of backstory of your Bbot, all of that. So if anybody who wants to write a story or include your Bbot in their narrative, they have something to like grasp onto, basically. The second one is we're actually using portions of the mint proceeds and the secondary sales to directly fund community sourced and voted on ideas for what to build on this media. So if you guys are familiar with the Nouns Prop House, it'll be a very similar system to that, where community members, anybody even outside of the community, can come propose what they want to build on top of Bbots, and then the community, whoever holds a Bbot token, can vote on what gets that funding at the end of each round. So that's kind of the next phase that we're building, and then along with our narrative version of Bbots and Globotron. So we believe that like narrative storytelling is it needs a kind of driving focus. So that's what we're trying to be. We're trying to provide a driving focus to build on top of Bbots, but we're also trying to allow the community to really take the reins and see what kind of narrative vision they want to create on top of that as well. So with that, I will stop rambling, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to jump on and ask.
I'm going to say I didn't just ape in for no reason. I love the idea of being able to write the story of the characters that we use. The Marketing Guild specifically has spent, a year now talking about having characters that, we can tell stories with, and we just haven't quite figured it out. And when I stumbled across Bbots, I was like, wow, I could see that we would be able to create stories. Somebody else has already created the characters. Now we just need to create content with them. So I personally have spent quite a bit of money over the last few days trying to grab characters that I think fit a threshold brand. And it's really interesting to me that we get to build on top of something that Seth Green could come out with a cartoon, a year from now, and he could decide to use one of the characters that I own, that I wrote the story for. And I think that's all just fantastic.
Right. Yeah, and that's one of the main things that we are aiming to kind of find a good middle ground for like licensing of your Bbot. So the fact that it is CC0 means anybody gets to use it, can build on top of it. But we're trying to provide enough avenues and enough structure that you can. It's very easy for you to define what is like canon per se about your character. What because you own it, you get to set kind of what your vision of that character is. And then yeah, that's the best part we love about CC0 here, is that you don't need to own a Bbot. You can just come if you like the vibe, if you like the characters themselves, you're more than welcome to use them in any marketing or anything like that that you see fit. And our thesis here is that the more people that use them and the more attention that comes to those, just provides more and more value to build in the ecosystem without even people having to buy directly into the NFT itself.
Hey, sorry, I'm mobile, so I can't check, but how many were minted and what was the mint price? Curious.
So our mint price was 0.08 ETH, and our collection size is 3,333. We didn't mint all of those directly. We did a kind of retroactive airdrop of a lot of the special characters to our community, to our early supporters. I think the floor price is lower than that now. So if you want to buy in, it's very cheap. You're not going to have to ape a ton of money unless you want a special one. I think some of the people are very proud of their special characters.
And then what are the mechanics for writing the lore on each character? Like, does it get saved on like IPFS or something? It's attached to it. How does that work?
Right. So we're still in the kind of final processes of this, but we are really trying to leverage Lens, which, if you guys aren't familiar with Lens, it's like a Web3 social media platform, basically. And one of their pitches that they think like a potential use case they could use is a kind of alter ego, right? So how we're going to do this is each of your B-bots is going to have a Lens profile, and then you get to set what's on that profile as like the canon.
Okay, yeah, it's interesting. Thanks.
Great question.
Ryan, I know you have more questions than that. Come on, don't hold back.
Out of the 3,333, how many were airdropped, and did the team keep any?
We did keep a few. I mean, our team bought in to start with, so we spent our own money on also airdrop, or I guess buying into the collection ourselves. So we didn't like set any aside for ourselves. And I think everybody that bought one got 2 airdropped to them. So it was a little slower mint than we were hoping for, but we're still carrying on with our vision, and that's why I'm here talking to you about it.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I haven't been paying too close attention to what's minting lately, but just the state of the market isn't. I guess it's a tough time to launch a project.
Our timing was definitely not the best, but we're making the best of it.
Yeah, for sure. That's good attitude. Is there any other like planned partnerships with other projects? Sort of these PFP projects?
We don't have anything that we can share right now. Obviously, we're working our best. Seth Green also has been involved in a couple other NFT projects, so I imagine at some point there'll be some crossover with those as well.
Oh, got it. To what capacity is he involved in this one?
He's like a big supporter of ours. He's not just like a name we slapped on it. He's a big like creative force and driving a lot of the vision on what we're building. So like we have at least weekly meetings with him about what we're going forward with.
Got it. And can you give a little brief background on the team, like who's doing what and what role?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question. So Seth is kind of our creative vision and just providing a lot of experience in the entertainment world itself. Ben Valvez is our artist. I guess I should give some more backstory about where B-Bots came from. So Ben was actually I guess he is an artist, a creative, does lots of stuff. But back in the 90s, he realized there was not a good kind of open source free resource for typefaces on the internet. So he created one of those, basically a resource for people to download fonts and everything called Fontalicious back in the 90s. And as a Easter egg in one of the fonts that he made, he created these B-bots and like put them in there. So people they've been on the internet since like the 1990s as an Easter egg, and they're just now getting released in a big way. So that's kind of where it all started. So Ben is our creative talent. Mike McGinnis is our producer. He's best friends with Ben and Seth. So he's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes and partnerships and that kind of stuff. And then our company Masterfile is doing all of the tech and the like Web3 strategy.
Oh, awesome. That was really helpful. Thanks.
Yeah, so I guess feel free to ask more questions, but yeah, I really encourage everybody to jump in the Discord if you have any questions. I'll leave a link to that as well. But yeah, we're not trying to shill. You don't have to spend money to like come be part of the community. And even if you did want to spend money, it wouldn't be that much. But yeah, we love to just talk about you guys, or come have you guys talk about, be allowed to ask questions, get to know everybody. Yeah, that's my shill.
For example, if somebody wanted to, in the Threshold community, start creating comics for us, they could choose any of those 3,033 B-bots to use as characters in their story. The owner of those characters is going to write the narrative for each of those characters, but I can squeeze those into my content. That bad bot, that cool purple beat box, those could be used, though we don't own them.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to own them to use them, which is a unique aspect.
And that's the CC0. And, you know, you don't have to buy in to be a part of the community. You can come in and participate, content, and you don't have to spend a penny, which I think is incredible.
Yeah, and we'll actually pay you to make content once we get our Tide Pool is the name of our system up and running for funding community projects based on the community voting. So if you have an idea and you need a little bit of dough to get it off the ground, that will be also an avenue in the near future.
Are you building Typepool, or is that existing already? You're just integrating?
We are currently building, Typepool also as part of our software stack for Masterfile. So like it'll be a Masterfile product that Bebot is.
So other projects could use that as well.
Right.
As like a funding platform.
Right. Exactly.
Got it.
Just so y'all know, Bad Bot is a one of one Mr. T NFT. I don't own him.
Oh yeah.
But
let me see if I can go find him.
pretty sure he's lost him.
But I wish I did.
Yeah, we included a lot of specialty one of one characters just for fun. We had a lot of fun making those.
You know, Garrett, I wanted to just elaborate on the drop a little bit. And again, you know, not that some of this stuff is pretty familiar to people, but during the golden year of NFT PFP projects, you know, of course, drops would sell out within minutes, you know, sometimes a little bit longer. But the original apes, actually, their drop took, I believe, a little bit longer than 24 hours to sell out. So, you know, people kind of got a little skewed in that they said, well, drops need to sell out within 14 seconds in order to be successful. We're in the midst of a terrible bear market right now. So I even commend the team for having the courage, you know, to do the release during this time. You know, it really showed your commitment to the project. And obviously the bear market receives what it will. But Garrett, one thing that I really was impressed with was you separated the launch into three tranches. And, you know, there was essentially a 50%, which would be, you know, general, and then a smaller percentage, which would be legendary, and then a very small percentage like Mr. T over here, which is like a mythical one of one. Can you tell us a little bit more about pseudo swap and how that came into play?
Sure. Yeah, so we tried to get a little innovative and make the drop a little bit more fun. So we leaned on some like loot box mechanics type things from video games, just to make it a more engaging experience and make it fun for everybody involved. So like Nico said, we did kind of a 3-phased reveal where we revealed the less rare ones earlier, and then the longer we went, we revealed more and more of the rarest ones. So that was our drop mechanics. I think a lot of people had a great time with that. It really drove a lot of excitement inside of the community, and we may revisit something like that in the future. As for SudoSwap, that was kind of our backup plan. So basically everything that didn't sell in the original mint, we minted out ourselves and put into SudoSwap pools at the original mint price, basically just allowing people, not devaluing anybody who bought in at the original price, but still, if this gains potential upside, allowing people to still buy in at that original price. So that's our plan for now. We'll probably be pulling a lot of those out of the SudoSwap pools to kind of give away or distribute for like community enhancement projects. So we still have a lot of work to do there, but yeah, we're playing around. We're trying to integrate with lots of different Web3 crypto native stuff, and we're having a good time doing it. Obviously, the kind of reveal mechanism was totally powered by Chainlink. So yeah, we're trying to do things the right way as kind of crypto native as possible.
So builders are wanted, right? I mean, builders can join your community, and even if you don't want to go out and buy one of the NFTs, you actually have the opportunity just to kind of bring some of your skills. Maybe you're really good at writing smart contracts, or again, you might be a little bit more on the DeFi side. So, it just kind of feels like it might be just sort of a nice way for people to join your community if they want to hone some of their own skills.
Right. Yeah, and not just the technical ones as well. Like we do think there's lots of opportunities for technical people in Web3 and crypto to kind of do bounties and do this kind of stuff. But there's not that much for creative people. So that is one of our main ideas for Titanpool, is to give basically like kind of a bounty-esque system for creative people to build, and so we can really recognize their value in the ecosystem as well.
Okay, real quick in the chat, guys, there's a really basic type form a few messages back. If y'all put your ETH address on there and your Discord ID, there is a really cool, like, deep colored bee bot that I bought to give away today. And I'm considering dropping everybody a derivative. So if y'all all would fill that out, there's a good chance that you'll end up all it later today.
Yeah, I liked your one derivative that you did on Showtime. I haven't got around to collecting it yet, but I'm definitely going to.
That was made with Nico's Black Odysseus. It's like super AI, obviously, with a little bit of manual work and some other design programs, but I loved the way it turned out. So
You did such a good job on that. It was awesome. It was so awesome. Ash, would you be willing to share any of your comic designs as well?
Yes, and I actually kind of put together a note page earlier today, and I think we still need to see if Nico's story that he's writing lines up with the background story that Bebots has, and see if we need to make any adjustments. But Nico and I like really just dove into this a few days ago, and he is already working on trying to come up with a little bit of a narrative. And then I created this really silly looking comic that hopefully it turns out better. Um, oh my goodness, I've lost the page, Nico. Yes, as soon as I find it, I will share. But I threw a Notion page earlier today.
Yeah, and it's again, I'm like I said, I'm just really impressed on how you support creatives and how you support creativity. Um, my personal funny story, I remember learning about OpenSea and going on there, and at the time, CryptoPunks were about $15. Maybe the high end ones were $100, and I just thought, I'm not really impressed with the artwork on these, and I was just kind of learning the process. Um, Part of the value, I think, nowadays, people want to associate themselves with a CryptoPunk to sort of give themselves a little bit of Web3 validity, and to give themselves a little more validity in the space. But the one thing I find so unique about the Bebots project is just the way you share the IP, and just the way you allow us to kind of take control and really create things from within. So thank you, Garrett. Thank you so much for sharing all that with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Obviously, big fan of Threshold and everything you guys are building here. We plan to be very, very integrated in the future projects and products of Threshold. So, yeah, thanks for having me.
And
Thank
not
you.
to cut the group short, I didn't know if there was any other follow-up questions or needed anything else.
No, I just encourage everybody, if you're at all interested, come drop by the Discord and say hi.
Thank you so much, Garrett. Love what Masterfile is doing. Love the Bebots. I really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thanks for all you guys' support too. You guys have been great additions to the community already.
we'll be around. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you'll see us around. And Ash, that's a great link that's in there right now. You can see my Odysseus standing in the top there. So very cool. Very nice comic.
So the comic idea, I asked Nico, like, hey, what should these bots be saying? And we decided we were going to ask the community, like, hey, these bots are learning what the internet is for the first time. What are they all saying? And I think I got a single reply on Twitter, but a really cool reply came in the Bbot server um, that that had a little bit of story to it. So we're trying to finish this comic out, and then we'll do something kind of cool with it once it's ready. So this is just a work in progress, and we were trying to do a little bit of engagement farming with it.
Yeah. And I, of course, look, I love to bring communities together. And one of the other early communities that I joined, I'm a big fan of XOR, and he has a project called the Mev Army. He really wanted to teach everybody about how to operate on the test net. And he created a challenge where everybody was required to make a video game or produce something using the test net. And that was one of my first real engagements where we were given badges by going through a process of building on there. Um, as soon as I saw the Bebots project, and again, they're priced well below the mint at the moment. But as soon as I saw the Bebots project, I thought, gosh, what an opportunity for us. Um, oh boy, sorry about that. Sorry about that background noise. Just what an opportunity for us to really highlight our community.
I have a question for everybody. Now that you've seen a little preview of the Bbots, and I don't know if anybody's had a chance to check out the Notion page, what does the marketing guild, I mean, our most active community members are here right now. What do y'all think about using the Bbots to create content for Threshold? Like, I really want us to create fun, engaging content um, and find new ways to educate people. And I think this is it, but I'd love to hear what everybody else is thinking.
I'll just say quickly, I've enjoyed what you posted.
Awesome. Thank you, beam me up. I think it's really unique that you don't have to own the characters to use them in a story. Like, that is so cool to me. Ideally, if everything went how it's, going in my head, at some point I would love to reach out to Seth Green and be like, hey, I would love for you to create this content for the Threshold Marketing Guild. And I don't know what content that would be yet, but I really want to brainstorm with everyone and figure out, are there comics that y'all think could have a lesson in them? Or, I mean, down the road, I could see us having like a cool little short story video format. Um, and honestly, it sounds like Nico and I, could even get funded through the Tide Pool to create that content. It might not even be that Threshold has to pay to create it. The Bbot holders could choose to tell our story for us, if that makes sense. Guys, I really appreciate y'all coming today. I'm gonna hang out for a bit, but with that said, that was the tea party for today. Nico, thank you for planning such an awesome little event for us. Look forward to exploring Unstoppable Domain Solution more, and continuing to figure out what to do with our Bebots characters now that we have a few.
I just wanted to add, I'm grateful for the information and showing what it is. I think I'd like to look into it a bit more before I comment on anything. But I appreciate all the information so far.
Taylor, once you've
Yeah.
looked into it, I appreciate send me a DM. I'd love to hear what you think. Or Nico, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, I just, like I said, Ashley, you totally summed it up really well. There's a lot of crossover that does end up happening. And one of the things that really drew my attention was I was involved in a community called Artifact a while back, and the Nike Corporation actually just came in and bought the entire thing because they wanted to be affiliated with Web3. And I think it might be a little bit of a stretch for us to kind of think about how we can bring projects like the Bbots, and not necessarily just the Bbots. I know there's some other people in the community that have affiliated with other NFT projects. But I just think there's a really, there's an opportunity to kind of cross audiences. And whenever I go into NFT communities, a lot of the people that are in there just focus on NFTs. They don't really branch out. They're kind of pigeonholed. But I find sometimes, not that I'm saying the same thing happens with Threshold, but we definitely have, a lot more of a cryptography background, a lot more tokenomics, and a lot more of a DeFi grounding in our community. And so, I just really like to, I really like to encourage that crossover. Um, some of the guys that are in the NFT, guys and gals, they don't even know how to operate a wallet. They don't understand the difference between a custodial wallet and a non-custodial wallet. So my experience in our sibling project, Tally Ho, I love bringing that experience over. And of course, I charge everybody on the call today. If anything kind of popped into your head and you think, hey, I've been wanting to develop this project in the background and I just don't know what to do next. Or God, I'd love a little funding for something that I'm thinking of building. Of course, anything that you would want to build on the Threshold network, maybe this would be an opportunity. So don't be shy. They're certainly very interested in having us come over and join their community. And also, I just wanted to offer if there's any asks that I can get. Eventually, Ashley and I are going to try to get Seth Green to do some co-marketing with us when the time is right. So, but short of that, yeah, anything that I can do, please let me know. And of course, as always, thank you guys for coming and sticking around and all the great questions today.
On a really personal note, Seth Green followed me on Twitter, you guys. So excited.
That's pretty cool. And he shows up for like all of the Twitter spaces. I was embarrassed. It was a bad hair day for me on Saturday, but he was inviting people up on the Zoom call. I mean, it's pretty cool. There's not a lot of places where you get to do a Zoom call with Seth Green. So it's kind of cool.
That's
Gonna have to-
amazing,
That'd be
Nico.
amazing.
Yeah, no, actually. You are quite the influencers.
Well, guys, thank you all for showing up today. If you have any wonderful ideas, content that you think would be awesome to get started creating, hit us up.
Yeah.
I think you're cutting out, Ash.
I'm sorry, guys. My internet is bad. Nico, back to you.
Oh, no worries. And of course, anybody that wants to propose any other future guests, please let me know. Have a wonderful Thursday. And yeah, man. And guys and girls, thank you.
Thank you again, Nico.
Thank you very
you,
much.
Luna. You have a good trip. Everybody take care. Talk soon.
See you around. Bye.
Bye.
See you.
Bye, guys.